Today's guest is Troy Fromin. He's been on numerous TV shows and has appeared in numerous films. So stick around and find out what's in the box.
Visit thecryptocrew.com, your #1 source for cryptozoology and paranormal research. That's thecryptocrew.com. The Crypto Crew is a research group led by Thomas Marcum that investigates and documents things like Bigfoot, UFOs, ghosts, and just general weird things. They've won several awards. Check out the website today. That's thecryptocrew.com.
All right, gang, welcome to another episode of What's in the Box. I have a very special guest today. Without you probably knowing it, he's probably been in your living room many times. He's appeared on numerous television shows and in films. If you've ever watched maybe Grey's Anatomy, Saved by the Bell, Married with Children, he has been in all these shows. And I would like to really welcome him to the show today. His name is Troy Fromin. How are you today?
I'm fantastic, thanks. Due to my, I had a foot problem, so I've been on disability and at home for a few months. I'm getting ready to go back to work. We work at we own a restaurant, so we're still able to go out there and do deliveries and pick up orders. And my wife's over there slaving away. So, I've just been bored and the cabin fever, just getting ready to get back into the world. And now the world wants everybody shut in,
Yeah, it's closed down on us. I was going to ask you, is the outbreak affecting your restaurant business?
Well, yeah, because our dining room was closed, and that's like 75% of our intake. So we got to do what we got to do. So the deli department's open. People come in for takeout, and we're still taking tablet orders and deliveries. So.
Well, that's the way it is here. All of our restaurants, dining in is out of the question. You can do the drive up or a call in pickup order. That's about as far as you can go with it.
Well, that's the way it's supposed to be across the whole United States right now.
And I really worry about businesses like yourself. I mean, that's going to be hard to stay in business if it continues for a long period of time.
Yeah, we have like a lot of employees. We're a big place with a large dining room and a deli counter, and so to let 75% of our staff, laid off at the moment, they have to go file for unemployment or whatever. But let's talk about me and my acting, right?
Yeah, let's talk about that. Well, let's get started by how did you get started into acting? I know when you started, of course, you was much younger than you are now because you've been doing it for probably almost 30 years or so.
Yeah, well, okay. Let me just start off by saying, now this is What's in the Box. It's a podcast, right?
Yes, it is.
All right. Speaking about boxes, if I hear my buzzer at the door ring, I'm gonna have to let you go for 1 second because I got a box coming from Tubi.com for my pets. I'm stocking up on pet food and cat litter and stuff.
I understand that completely. We take care of our dogs too. Two of our dogs actually had the parvovirus back just about a month ago, and we slept with them and everything, trying to nurse them back to health.
Well, how do they get that? By sleeping in your bed with you?
Well, we had to do it. Well, one of them had to stay in the dog hospital for a couple of days, but they made it though.
I shouldn't joke about that.
No, well, we had 3 dogs that actually had the parvovirus, and all 3 of them we pulled them through it. So.
Okay. So you asked me how I got started, right?
Yeah. How'd you get started?
Well, I might sound like a broken record to everybody who listens to all my interviews, but as a young boy, I was fascinated with science fiction, fantasy, and horror, and I couldn't get enough watching the TV and magazines, and I leafed through the TV guide and circled all the horror movies, science fiction movies. I can stay awake, when everybody went to bed and snuck in the viewings, and I started, reading Stephen King and all that. And my main goal when I was 14 years old was to, be a dead body in a horror film or something. I wanted to be in a horror film. So when I graduated high school, I I got some headshots made, and I started sending out my own resumes and stuff to student films, extra work. I put in my time. I paid my dues to say, I'm not getting paid, and the student films and this and that. And I started accumulating speaking roles. Things like Street Soldiers and Monster High. And I met a guy, and he introduced me to a manager, and she got me my first audition for a sitcom called Dr. Doctor with Matt Frewer. Matt Frewer, if you don't know, he was the guy that played Max Headroom. You know Max Headroom?
Oh yeah, very familiar.
Yeah, so that was my I got my Taft Hartley from that. I was a growling hockey player, and you can see that on my YouTube channel, Dr. Doctor, and you can see everything, most of my stuff on my YouTube channel, except for a lot of Saved by the Bell stuff, because it's in syndication and they don't allow me to do that. And plus, I make my own funny videos that you can see there, everybody. And if you're listening, please subscribe to me. Please, Instagram, Facebook, the more the merrier. I just like to, I like to get myself out there. I'm my own promotional manager, basically. And some fantastic news, and I'll tell you right now. You familiar with my campaign I've been running since January?
Actually, I'm not.
You never seen hashtag Bring Back Oz?
Oh yeah, well now that I am familiar with. I have seen that. I take that back. I thought you was talking about something else, but yeah, I have seen that.
That is my campaign for fans. Fans started it, and me sent it to NBC and Peacock streaming, and all the big shots over there. To show the support that they want me in the reboot.
Oh, it was a very popular character during the time. It was a very popular character you played there.
Yeah, I played only 8 episodes as Ox, and the world loves me. I'm not going to be conceited or whatever, but when I first joined Facebook, I took my time joining Facebook, and everyone convinced me to do it. Then I started getting people all over the world going, hey, Ox, hey, Ox, hey, Ox. I'm surprised I don't have any more YouTube subscribers than I do, but if you guys would please do that, it'd be nice. And I make funny videos. I make you laugh your ass off. And so here's the news. Last week, one of the people, I'm not going to say names because I don't want to. One of the producers contacted me through Messenger that I was pestering, and he said, "Hey, you want to be in a scene next Tuesday? There's no speaking lines, but you'll be in a scene." And of course, I'm not going to say no because it's a union job, and I get my foot in the door, and maybe they'll give me a line, or maybe they'll use me later on. But if I said no, then my whole campaign was shot to hell,
Right.
So what happened was I was all excited about that, and the next day they announced all the studios are closing down production until further notice. You stupid coronavirus! You ruined my set.
Well, I know that feeling because we've been working on an actual, we're a lot smaller scale, of course, but we've been working on some films ourselves, and we got some outside shooting we need to do. But between the rain and also the snow, and now the coronavirus, we can't get it done right now.
Have you made a full feature film yet?
Actually, I've made several films. Of course, I went from ultra low budget to just low budget. So yeah, we got quite a few things on Amazon, and mostly documentary style. We do paranormal investigations. We do historical type things, and we also do Bigfoot investigations and talk to witnesses about that.
Oh, so paranormal kind of stuff. Do you have like a regular feature film?
Yeah.
That or not?
And I've also had my hand in a few. I've had a hand in a movie called Zombie Farm, which was a zombie movie, of course. And what was the other one? There was another zombie movie too, which the name escapes me right now. And it starts off with a rabbit. A rabbit escapes a test facility, and it bites this person, and that's how the virus kind of gets started on it. Oh, The Forever Dead is the name of that, which is kind of cool.
Are you familiar with an app called Tubi, UBI?
Oh yeah, Tubi TV, yeah.
That has so many movies, like things that you've forgotten about or want to rediscover. It's so many, and every day I'm looking through it, and I see stuff that I haven't seen before, and it's a really. I got like 6 movies on that Tubi channel.
Oh, cool. Do you know any of the titles right off? I'd say Return of the Living Dead 2, probably.
No, that one is not on there. Return of the Living Dead 3 is on there, and Return of the Living Dead 1. 2 is weird because I don't know. It's a you can see, but it's not on Tubi yet. What was I gonna say?
What have you got on Tubi TV? What titles?
Here we go. I'm just curious, how many listeners do you have? And don't BS me.
Well, right now this is a new podcast, and if I get it to which I always embed it onto my website, and we get thousands a day on the website, and we've got almost 13,000 followers on our Facebook page.
Nice. Okay, so you'll make this available for all of them, right?
Oh yes, this year goes to several other places where they can listen to it as well.
All right, well, here's some off the top of my head. The first one I would suggest is Full Moon Shrunken Heads, which I did in the early 90s.
I like that one.
I'm in the whole movie, and it's great. I love it.
Yeah, I like that one. I used to own video stores, too. I had a small chain of video stores, so that's why I'm familiar with a lot of this.
Well, how old are you?
I'm actually 50. I'll be 51 this year.
I'm 53.
So, yeah, I figure we're fairly close.
I started Saved by the Bell when I was 23. Okay, moving on. I got Shrunken Heads, and then I got a Jim Wynorski film. It's a comedy, a kid's family movie called A Doggone Christmas. You have kids?
Actually, my son, I have one son, but he just turned 25, so that's...
Oh, yeah. Well, for younger kids, or even the family, A Doggone Christmas is wonderful. I play an FBI agent. I'm one of the guys looking for the telepathic dog, and I'm in the first half of the movie.
Oh, cool.
And there's another one on there called Time Barbarians, which was featured on USA Up All Night. You heard of that one?
Yeah, actually, I've seen the title. I've not watched it, but I've actually seen all three of those titles. I've watched Shrunken Heads, of course.
I'm in two scenes. The Time Barbarian comes from the barbarian times, and he time travels into Los Angeles while we're beating up a reporter, and he shows up with a sword. That's the first scene. And the second scene I'm in later on, I'm selling guns to the bad barbarians who looking for weapons to destroy the good barbarian. And I have a great death scene in there. Sorry, spoil alert, but check it out. I still have a scar on my chest from the paint gun that came out of the shotgun.
Oh,
These
gee.
people were low budget morons. They could have killed me like, Bruce Lee's son style.
Oh, that was bad. We'd actually done a little horror movie back year before last. We actually just helped out another guy that was a friend of ours, and in that scene, I've got a shotgun, and my son has been attacked, so I have to run and fall down next to him in the mountains. And as I fall down next to him, I got a big stick sticks in my leg and scratches my leg, and that's been over a year, and I still got the scar from it. So I know what you mean about getting injured.
Yeah, I was on the set of Forgotten Heroes, low budget Vietnam movie, and this guy had a patch on his eye. He ran into a tree, and he had to put a patch on his eye because it was so bad. But he kept on working. For these low budgets, that's dedication to you.
Well, a lot of people may not realize a lot of times when we do these small independent films, there's no payment involved. A lot of times, it's just you want to help somebody out, you want to get your name out there, and you just want to keep working and doing things.
That's right. I can't think of any more that are on Tubi at the moment, but I know there's something. But anyway, Tubi's fantastic. I can enjoy the commercials because they show the nudity, they have the cussing, they don't cut anything. It's great.
Well, what I like about Tubi, they have a lot of the old horror movies that you just can't find anymore.
Exactly. Since I've been stuck in this house for 3.5 months, I've been revisiting lots of stuff, and I just discovered the comedy, The Booty Tang, which made me crack up so hard, man.
I remember that one.
Yeah. So let me just go ahead, ask questions, and let me plug something later.
Well, we know that you spent probably on television. You spent probably most of your time on Saved by the Bell, I'm assuming.
Yeah, because I was in 9 episodes, so that was 9 weeks of my life. Sporadically, at first I appeared at Scott, and they liked that and all, and they called me up and they said, "Hey, we want to try you out as Doc because we like the way you look and your acting and stuff." So I tried out as Doc, and then I did a couple of docs, and then they wouldn't call me for 1 week. Then they called my manager in 1 week, and I was booked on Wonder Years. So, there was 1 week the Wonder Years wanted me, and Saved by the Bell wanted me, and that was kind of cool. I wish I had a clone of me.
That's two very good shows too. I watched both of them. Over the years, I've watched them a lot.
I did two Wonder Years, and then Wonder Years wanted me for a third one, but I was booked on Saved by the Bell, so it was like a tag, a touch and go thing. And Wonder Years got anymore. I could have been on more of those too.
Well, now I know you've been in some pretty big name films as well. Tell us some of those. I know you said you had an interest in horror movies. What horror movies have you been in?
Well, Return of the Living Dead 2, some of these I just get lucked in, by luck. I did extra work as Zombies and Soldiers, and I got my friends involved, and the lady, the wife of Tom Fox, Paula Fox, called me one day and asked me if I wanted to be a feature Army truck driver, the pot guy, and I said, hell yeah. So that got me a good claim to fame. And I worked production on Phantasm 2. I was living at home, rent free, and I wrote to Don Coscarelli when I saw going into production. Said I'll do anything. They brought me in as a craft service. I didn't even know what craft service was, so I learned how to make coffee and do this and that. And then Don said, okay, one night, okay, Troy, this is your turn. And he put me in that graver's outfit and had me digging away at the grave with this rubber pickaxe. And ever since that, I'm one of the gravers in Phantasm 2. And another horror, those were pretty decent budgets. And then another good budget movie I was in, but it's not a horror film, was The Perfect Weapon.
Yeah, that was a good movie, yeah. That was a very good movie.
And they brought in a stunt guy who looked kind of like me, and I said, I could do this. So I was in football gear, for God's sake, and I was young. At this age, yeah, bring in the stunt guy, because if I fall down, my back hurts for 2 weeks. And, when you're young, the youth have it, and getting old sucks. That's for sure. I was thinking at 53.
Yeah, I'm telling the difference too. When I turned 30, I could tell a difference in my body, but now that I turned 50, I can tell another little bit of a difference. So, bring on 60, I guess.
Yeah, I was eating horrible and sluggish, and I come home from work and lay on the couch, and then I realized it's the diet. You eat better and you have more energy. And I still eat fat, but I have to eat a lot better than I am, and I know how to do it now, so I don't feel so sluggish anymore.
Well, we know you like horror movies, which I like horror movies too. What are some of the more recent projects that you've worked on or been in?
Well, thank you. I just co-starred in this movie called The Stalker. It won a film festival award over there in Atlanta, Georgia, the Broad Street Film Fest, and it's a nod to the 80s. It's an 80s style slasher film, and I didn't even have to audition for that. I just was talking to the guy, and his mom was the producer, and they flew me out. It was a pretty cool little part, and it's coming out later on this year. The Stalker. Look for it. That, ladies and gentlemen.
Definitely.
And I've been in a couple of like a low budget horror film nobody's probably ever heard of. It's a pretty funny movie called The Speak of the Devil.
I don't think I've heard of it. Tell us a little bit about it if you can.
It's hard to find, but you can see my clips on my YouTube channel.
Okay.
Speak of the Devil Part 1, Part 2. I didn't know how to edit, so I just put the separate clips, above each other. That was a cool movie, Then I was in a low budget action film called The Street Soldiers, and that's on. You can see that on YouTube, the whole film. Street Soldiers. Cool.
YouTube is really a good source too to get stuff out. There's a big audience. But
what else, man?
Okay, you said you're recovering from a foot injury, and you've been cooped up in the house for how long now?
Almost 4 months.
Oh man, so you're probably chomping at the bit to get back out and do something.
Well, I get out for my doctor's appointments or to drive my wife to work and back, but I'm supposed to stay off my foot as much as possible. I got these crutches, and I'm almost there. I'm almost to the point where, I can get back to work and put on my regular shoe.
Well, have you got some prospects lined up for some more film work?
Yeah, there are prospects, but everything's put on hold, so who knows?
Yeah.
I had a couple, I'm not going to say who it was, because I don't want to cut any bridges, but last year I had 2 parts associated with the same company, and they switched it to a female, but I know better because I'm looking at the credits and stuff. It's just, they had a disagreement and they picked another actor over me. And then they call me and it gives me another part, which is like 2 pages of dialogue, and then they ended up cutting that scene out of the movie. I'm not going to say things. I don't want to cut bridges. It's a horror film, but if I go when that movie comes out and I see that movie and my part's in there, I'm going to be so pissed off.
Right. Let me
I'll
ask.
just keep going.
Let me ask you one other question here, and then we'll change directions. When a person is, I'm assuming that when you first got into doing films and acting and things, that you hadn't really had you said you started right out of high school. You probably hadn't had any formal training at that time, correct?
Correct. My training is in my mind by studying the horror films and actors, and it just came natural to me. I know I'm not the best actor in the world, but there's some stuff. Check this out. Have you seen Kill Overkill?
I don't think so.
All right. Take a note, and really, on my YouTube channel, I have 2 full-length feature films. One is Kill Overkill, where I play a psycho and my retarded brother. We terrorize women. And that was on USA Up All Night. You know that show, right?
Oh yeah, definitely.
And one time, Gilbert Gottfried introduced it, and Ron DeShoe introduced it another time. So, and I was on 3 times, I believe. And the other little movie I did, the whole thing. Have you heard of a guy named Steve Wang?
That name sounds familiar.
He's a creature special effects sculptor,
Okay.
artist, and he had this movie going, and word of mouth, they were looking for a white, chubby guy, and the co-star in it. So I met him, and I agreed to work on weekends or whatever time I had. We shot this movie in the course of on and off with a whole year, and we shot on Super 8 with no sound. And these guys, they were a team. They did their own special effects, and they're still doing major special effects in movies these days. So check out Kung Fu Rascals. It's a comedy, like Jackie Chan meets the Three Stooges. It's got forced perspective, great music. It's an underground gem that people appreciate.
Cool.
And Kill Overkill, you can actually, you can see my acting, how what a psycho I am and my dialogue, and I think I did a pretty good job in that. Even though the movie's the movie's rubbish, but check those 2 things out, man.
Well, see, that's what I was kind of driving at. That to be successful, you don't necessarily have to have all this training. You just got to have a desire to do it and a mind that will study and improve.
Yeah, a lot of actors are like that. I don't know, they just get into it. Like Danny Trejo, he was in jail, and then
Right.
the criminal, and they came in and they asked him if he wanted to be in the movie. They were shooting in the jail or something. I might be wrong. And then he had just accumulated roles, and he skyrocketed. I was in a scene with Danny Trejo. You know which one? What I was in?
No, I don't.
The TV show called FBI: The Untold Stories. And when I was in a scene with, he was nobody then. So then, like years later, I forgot all about it, and I found it on YouTube. I go, oh my God, I was in a scene with Danny Trejo. Reflecting back on that. I'm a biker with this bandana on. I'm holding a shotgun at the guy who we suspect may be a drug runner, or maybe he's not. So you can see that on my YouTube channel too. Me and Danny Trejo, I love that scene.
Well, now I was at an event last year. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's called Bubba Fest. There was a lot of big stars there. It was like Chuck Norris and a whole bunch of people. The guy, I can't think of his name right off. The guy that played in the original Flash Gordon movie in the '80s. I can't think of his name. But there was a whole bunch of stars there, and Danny Trejo was supposed to be one of the guys that showed up, but he didn't. Something happened with his flight, and he couldn't make it. But it was a big turnout, and it was a lot of people there, so that was enjoyable. Got to meet quite a few people.
Yeah, wow.
So I know I've kept you on here probably longer than you need, but before we go, tell us how people can connect with you on social media, or how they can find you on YouTube, or a web address or anything like that.
wet, but everything is, I keep it simple. Troy Fromin Instagram, Troy Fromin Facebook, Troy Fromin Twitter, and YouTube. It's that easy to find me. You know, these people that use different names and stuff, that confuses me. So I just go straight forward. Troy Fromin, please join me with everything, and enjoy my work on YouTube. And you want to talk to me, messenger me. I saw you asking for guests, and I just love doing stuff and being out there and promoting myself. And you know what I mean?
I understand that completely, and a lot of times I tell people now we have to self-promote some, because if we don't, nobody else is going to.
Yeah, and I was at the set of Phantasm 2. Robert Tapper, the producer of Evil Dead, came in and visited, and Sam Raimi was supposed to show up, and I was disappointed. And he hired me for Darkman right then and there. And I was on the set of Darkman one day, and I finally got to meet Sam Raimi and took a picture with him.
Evil Dead was a good show, and so was Darkman.
20-something years later, I'm at the deli counter. This guy walks to the counter, and it's Sam Raimi. I said, "You're Sam Raimi, right?" He goes, "I was in one of your movies." He goes, "Which one?" I said, "Darkman." And I told him the details. I said, "Next time you come out, I got a picture for you." So I kept it in my glove compartment for like 4 months. I finally saw him. It was me and him when we were like really young. And I put my phone number on the back and gave it to him. He still comes in occasionally because this is in the Palisades.
Well, maybe that will lead to something. I don't know. I've heard of some reboots for Evil Dead. That would be kind of nice to get involved with.
Yeah, I've pestered him enough. He knows I want to work. And then you got this guy, Adam Sandler, comes in all the time, and I show him all my stuff. He couldn't care less. All he does is give parts to his friends. He grew up in the neighborhood in the college. He's got 5 houses. He could do a favor to a fellow Jewish guy, and give me one line apart.
Yeah.
And every time I see him, I say, "Hey, I did this, I did that. Here's the poster for my movie. Look at it. I got second billing for the stalker." And he's like, yeah. So Adam Sandler, he used to be, a god in my eyes. But now when you meet the real guy and don't want to help you out, I think differently of him now.
Well, here in our area, we've been kind of fortunate the last few years. We've had quite a few movies to be made here. They actually lotted off one of our little small towns because it looked like it was maybe something from the 70s or 80s, and they shot a film there. It had Johnny Knoxville in it and Burt Reynolds and several other people. And then recently they shot one in either in a smaller town called The Evening Hour, and it's based on a book from a guy that lives here in Harlan County, Kentucky. And we actually got to be on the set of that, and it was kind of cool to see how the bigger studios do it because they had a big budget. And people don't really understand how much goes actually into making a movie, even small scale ones. There's a lot of behind the scenes stuff you just don't never see.
Yeah, I've worked with these guys. I'm not going to mention his name. No one tell Bridges. He takes a camera handheld and he shoots he's shooting at school, and he sells these movies, but they're crap, and I'm in one of his. But I like people who go into style and dolly tracks and artistic kind of stuff, not crude.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. Our biggest thing at my level is funding. Funding is so hard to get. We have to do it out of pocket, or we get maybe a few people chip in a couple $100 or something, But it's the funding part is so hard to break into that area where you can actually receive funding for films.
Yeah. Who wants to give money to a low budget movie unless you're rich? And
right.
Yeah, I invested money in a movie. I never got it back, but at least the movie's made, and it was a kill, overkill. They needed money at the end, and I invested in it because I wanted the movie to be complete. And it was a tax write-off that ended up for me, but hey.
Well, now, like the films I've done, I've got films playing in like 60 different countries. I've actually won a few small awards. I did one on a missing person case back from the late 60s, and it won a film award.
You're talking about directing, right?
Yes.
Do you act also?
Well, if I have to.
Do we need to do do me a favor. Will you send me a couple links so I can watch some of your stuff?
Sure, yeah. I actually got some stuff on YouTube and stuff too that we've done.
Well, send me links of your best stuff.
Okay. And I'm on Internet Movie Database, of course, too. You can find quite a bit of stuff on there. And of course, my earlier stuff was total crap, but now it's a little bit better crap. It's more shiny.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, it's just people don't understand how hard it is to sustain a career in this type of industry.
Hey, you should get hold of my friend. Write this down. He'll do a nice interview with you.
Okay.
Eric. You probably know his name. Spudic. Spudic. And I think he lives around your area, maybe. He had a video store too.
No.
He runs something out of a place called Spudic Movie Empire or something. But he's a writer. He sold the script to Sony recently.
Oh wow.
He just started a reality TV show about weightlifting that's coming out soon. And he's done a little bunch of stuff, and he's got his hat and everything with writing, producing, kind of like you. You guys would get along fine. So contact him on Messenger. Maybe he'll do a nice interview with you.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah, when you're first starting out, or even if you've been doing it for years, like I have, and you don't have any funding, you have to do a little bit of everything from editing to acting to, which I'd rather be behind the camera most of the time.
Right.
But I'm like you. I like horror films. I want to play I would like to play in a horror movie. Maybe be the killer, where you wear a mask. You don't have to say a whole lot. You just look big and scary.
Yeah, I'm going through all the horror movies on Tubi, and then I see something that looks like it might be good. Then I go straight to IMDb, and it gets like a 2.0. I look at then I just read the user reviews. Is what helps me the most. But don't bother. So there's so much good artwork on Tubi, but so much crap too. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I watched one the other day. I tried to watch it. It was something about the Revenge of the Scarecrow or something. The box art was awesome, but then you go and watch it and it's set back in like the 1600s and it's really slow moving. And,
yeah, you got to read the user reviews.
But, well, I've kept you on here a long time. I know you said you had a package and stuff coming. I really appreciate you doing the podcast with us, and it's great to hear about how you started and where you're going now and what you got planned. And I will link to your YouTube channel and things in the description of this podcast, so maybe we can even send more people over to you.
Well, thank you very much. And if you're ever in Santa Monica, come visit me at Fromin's Deli when we reopen, hopefully.
If I'm out that way, I will make sure, because I like to eat, so I will make sure to get in there.
Who doesn't, huh?
That's right.
All right. And you feel free to go into my photo library on my Facebook. I got tons of pictures you can use for advertising it.
Okay, that sounds good. And once again, I really thank you for being on What's in the Box.
You're welcome, man. Thanks for having me.
All right, bye. Hey, Thomas here again for What's in the Box. If you have a show idea or you'd just like to leave us a comment, please send us a voice message through the button at the top. Also, we hope you will consider supporting the podcast financially. If not, please just share with your friends. Thanks.